Hello villagers, welcome back to another video, and on this specific video you guys, I am bringing you the creepiest, nay, scariest, nay, the most terrifying, the videos that will make you wonder and say, this is interesting. Those videos that I managed to find on my TikTok channel, and I hope you guys find it super interesting. Please let me know down below what you guys think. This is spooky TikTok, okay? So this is part 1. I will be coming in as often as I can to bring you guys more spooky videos. But without any further ado, you guys already know how we do it here. I've stitched together all these amazing creators who have great storytelling capabilities, and I'm sure you guys as members of my village will enjoy it too. And if you guys did not know, all you have to do to join this village is click that subscribe button and you are automatically a member of this village. And now let's get into these stories. Don't forget to let me know which one y'all's your favorite down below, and let's get this started.
What's a historical fact that you had to learn on your own and not in school?
So I recently visited some of the slave castles in Ghana, and I was sick to my stomach. About 100 to 150 people were forced into these slave dungeons. Once they reached the slave dungeons, the human waste that they had to sit in and stand in was about knee deep. And when I say human waste, I mean the poop, the pee, the throw up, the blood, the menstrual blood. All of that they had to stand in, and everything else that comes out of the human body. Not only that, they had to breathe in and inhale all of those toxins because there was no ventilation in those dungeons. Mind you, they weren't just sitting in there for days or maybe weeks. They were sitting in there for up to 3 months straight. The conditions were so bad that even as I stood there hundreds of years later, I can still smell the human waste. I mean, I was sick to my stomach. Y'all, was people up in there coughing. Those tiny little lines up there, those are not carvings done by an object. Those were done by people's nails digging into the stone wall because they were trying to desperately escape the death dungeon. Men who fought back were put into those death dungeons, and let's say they put about 10 of those men in that death dungeon. They wouldn't pull out the dead bodies until the last person died. That skull and that X represented death. It meant once you went in there, you were not coming back out alive. And also, there were churches built up over these slave dungeons, and as women and men were screaming, these so-called holy people were sitting above them worshiping God. Not only that, they specifically put these churches over the dungeons to represent heaven and HE double hockey sticks. Part 2 will be coming up because what they did to the women was disgusting.
I once was having a conversation and the person said something wild to me. They said Harriet Tubman was a sellout. I'm like, what? How was Harriet Tubman a sellout? And they said because instead of taking the people to Africa, she took the freed slaves up north where they could continue to suffer within this system. I'm like, okay, I guess I can see how you came to that conclusion, but how was Harriet Tubman supposed to get people to Africa with her life position and her amount of resources? How? And the fact of the matter is, Harriet Tubman did her job. It was other people's responsibility to build on top of it. Now that sounds like common sense, but it's not so much because we still do the same thing today, but oftentimes it's to our own parents, especially black people. Dang, why my parents ain't have no house set up for me? Oh, why I got student loans? Oh, why they ain't invest in the stock market? Oh, why my family don't have no resources? All this stuff, right? But we rarely take a moment to ask, what position did my parents come from? Metaphorically speaking, a lot of your parents were too busy making sacrifices to get you off the plantation. They didn't have time to study the stock market on the Underground Railroad. That's your job now.
Let's talk about my hometown's vampire problem. Right here is the entryway to the vampire tunnels. And this is what it looks like inside. Over a decade ago, a girl was approached in a library by a group of strangers who asked her a series of interesting questions and eventually told her that she is the reincarnation of their vampire queen. She considered herself a bit of a social outcast, so being accepted by a group so quickly made her feel good. She went along with them into these tunnels to a place they called the house. The one time that she visited the house, she noticed that there was a lot of decrepit furniture, a lot of deodorant sticks. It was clear they were living down there. And then the group of about 8 to 10 started drinking each other's blood. She left pretty quickly. Since then, people have tried going down there to hunt these vampires down, but to no avail. Weirdly enough, new furniture swaps in and out with old furniture frequently. They're still there.
Wow.
It's not showing up on camera.
Hey, show us back there.
There it is.
There
What
it
is
is.
it? Oh, there's a bunch of them. Where are they? They're blinking, y'all.
There's lots out there.
Are those coyotes?
No, but they're there.
Yeah, those are coyotes.
Is that what they are?
They're
They're
blinking.
sure out there. They're sure out
There's
there.
a bunch. Look.
Yeah, I see those eyes right there.
Glenn. Glenn!
You see that?
What is that? What is it?
Wow, that's them.
It looks like it's going up and down. It is.
It
What?
was. There, to see the others over in the
Yes.
trees?
I'm getting it on camera. Leave the flashlight right there, Mom. What is it? Yes,
Yeah, there
is.
is too.
You're down too low.
Oh my God, y'all.
There's something just
Oh, it's
yeah,
cows.
it's a cow. That's why his head was going up and down.
That was fun.
On February 2nd, 2004, Michael Lacoma was camping for the weekend around Fresno, California. He grabbed his cell phone and recorded the scenery, which brought him immense peace and tranquility. He soon heard the noise of an animal at the top of a nearby hill. Little did he know that when he went to record the hill next to his campsite, he would capture one of the most bizarre videos involving mysterious cryptids.
Shape up there. What the hell is that? Oh my God. But that ain't right.
As Michael shows off his campsite, his attention is soon brought to a nearby hill after hearing a strange noise. As he focuses his camera at the top of the hill, he captures a dark creature on two legs leaping back and forth.
It was Man Bear Pig. Man Bear Pig.
Things humans we're never meant to see. Man transforms into real werewolf.
I ain't going front. This is bullshit. This is BS. This is CBS. Complete BS.
Have you heard of the Beast of Bray Road? Basically, there's this road in Wisconsin where people report seeing overly large wolf-like creatures that they have strange encounters with. And what's crazy is most of the witnesses describe it as being a 6 to 7 foot tall wolf-like humanoid. Most encounters end with witnesses getting scratches down the side of their car. Here's an alleged picture of it. Some believe the sightings are just mass hysteria, but others believe it's actually a werewolf. What do you think?
What state would you like to hear next?
Give y'all the warning before you come to the city of New Orleans for Mardi Gras, you heard me? Everything is sectioned off. Don't be all back there in Bourbon, Prince Quarters, looking for something, and then you run into something else, you heard me? Because that's how it is in the city. You got witches over here, we got your vampires over there, we got your werewolves over there, rainbows over there, this over here, you heard me? Like, everything is sectioned off, so it's a place of culture, baby. Don't come over there and you thinking you just about to be dancing, you heard me, drinking your little drink, you heard me, and then next thing you know, you run into something crazy. You better be aware, baby. It's like vortexes down there. Quantum physics is happening down there. You go in one spot and you wound up in the other, you heard me? Mirror dimensions is happening down there. Be careful, bro. Stop thinking everything is cute and, you feel me? Come out down here with all that, I promise you, it's gonna be some problems.
In this video, she speaks about why you should be careful when visiting New Orleans. Make sure you watch until the end and let me know what you think in the comments below.
Let's talk about it. So I've been seeing a lot of people on social media talking about, you know, people need to be careful when they're visiting New Orleans during Mardi Gras. And yeah, you really do. Y'all just don't realize New Orleans, especially New Orleans, is like a spiritual playground, y'all. Y'all have to realize, like, just because y'all don't see this stuff on a regular, especially people that's not from that area, from the city and stuff like that, just because y'all don't see this stuff or hear about this stuff on a regular does not mean it is not true, y'all. I'm telling y'all, New Orleans is like a spiritual playground. And I get it, when you go to Mardi Gras, you're there to have a good time. You're there for the whole experience. You want to come back, you want to bring souvenirs, you want to try the new foods, you want to let any random person read your palms and record it and, you know, for the whole aesthetic. But sometimes you just gotta think before you go into these knick-knack shops and you buying all these different objects. Y'all don't know what these objects have connected to them, y'all. And I get it, you know, sometimes y'all like, just live. Like, it's not that serious, but it is that serious when you go back home and it's something attached to you or you don't know what's going on and why things are. There's some evil people in this world. And am I saying that all these people in New Orleans are evil? No. It's so many good people in New Orleans. And I'm not saying that all voodoo is bad. I'm not very, very educated on voodoo, but I do know voodoo isn't the same. All voodoo is different. There's so many different types of voodoos. And that's just something that I don't want any type of connection with. But when y'all going down there and y'all going in all these different knick-knack shops, bringing home all these different objects that y'all don't know nothing about just because it's cute, these little dolls and antiques, and like I said, letting people read your palms and getting your energy, it's crazy. I've been seeing all types of people talk about how they've been seeing these like vampire-like things, and I've heard a few different stories about the vampires in New Orleans and stuff like that. And they're not what you think, like the vampires with fangs and all that. It's the complete opposite of what you see on TV. Like I said, 9 times out of 10, if you see it on TV or you hear some type of creature on TV, it is real. Most of the time, it's real. They didn't just come up with these ideas out of nowhere. But it's not exactly what you think. It's not like how it is on TV. But that's for another topic. If y'all want me to talk about like vampires, real vampires, then I'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, y'all gotta be careful. New Orleans is like one of the most haunted places in the world. Home to Madame Laurie Laveau, the Voodoo Queen. Home to Madame Latterie. She's one of the most evil slave owners ever known to man. Like, this place has so much history, from all the different slaves coming there and bringing all their traditions and customs and religion to this one town. It's filled with so much history and pain and magic and all, and this stuff is real. Like I said, just because we don't learn about it that much here where we are does not mean it's not real. But if I was to go, best believe I'm gonna be prayed up the whole time, y'all. I feel like it's a place that everybody needs to visit. And I get it's fascinating, and I get a lot of this stuff is very interesting. But be careful when you're going on these ghost tours and these different graveyards and bringing back all these different energies and stuff like that. Because just because you haven't seen it does not mean it's not real. Because I promise you that New Orleans is just a place that I don't want to miss.
Is there a werewolf terrorizing the swamps in Louisiana? Let's get into it. Legend has it that after midnight, a werewolf-like creature, half man, half werewolf, is bloodthirsty and looking to get rid of his curse. It is said that the curse happens to people who weren't good Christians. Examples of this could be things like not doing confession on Sundays or participating during Lent. This curse is said to last for up to 101 days. Once the werewolf draws blood, the curse is now passed on to that person and the werewolf is now free from that curse. This curse is also part of Canadian lore, which makes sense because we have that whole French thing going on down here too. Throughout history in every part of the world, there really is a werewolf legend that goes around. The loup-garou is not to be confused with the rougarou, which we will talk about later on this month. It is said that they are super specific on who they hunt and go after. So when the clock strikes midnight, they're hunting for Catholics. In order to protect themselves, people would place 13 pennies in a line in front of their front door because it is said that the werewolf cannot count up to 13. He does not recognize the 13 number, and he just keeps counting over and over and over until it's sunrise, and then they're in their human form. Of course, for generations, people have been making movies, telling tales, writing books. Even children's books were written about the loup-garou. Those Cajun babies stayed in line because they were scared to death. A lot of people don't go into the swamp after midnight. I mean, I would never, but it's out of pure fear of running into something like that. There have been reports of screams and howling and sighting, even footprints in the mud in the swamp area. I guess this story isn't that scary if you're a good Christian.
Did y'all hear about that lady who went on a voodoo retreat in Haiti and never came back, and now they're telling her son that she passed away? Dana Jackson from Charlotte, North Carolina, felt the need that she wanted to be a mumble. And if you don't know, a mumble is a voodoo priestess. Mumbles are born into voodoo. I want to say that 99% of mumbles were born into it. And when I say born into it, it doesn't have to be like directly from your parents, but it's in your bloodline. Now, when she got there, she was in full communication with her family members through WhatsApp. And then communication just stopped. After that, they received a phone call basically telling them like, hey, I'm sorry, but she passed away. And then got a death certificate in the mail, which, to be quite honest with you, it's Haiti. Anybody could have written that. Anybody could have edited that. That's not what I'm saying it happened, but anyway, so obviously her family isn't buying it. I'm not buying it either. So as a Haitian myself, someone that educates you guys about these kind of things all the time, here's what I think happened. I think it's one of those two things. It's either one, she's very much still alive. And I'm not about to joke with you when I say this, but she's probably abducted by some mermaids. Was probably sacrificed, and now she's with the mermaids. I understand how ridiculous that sounds, but I'm so dead serious. Or number two, she did pass away. However, they did still sacrifice her. Somebody out there owns her soul, and she's probably on somebody's farm working right now, her poor soul. Which brings me back to what I always tell you guys on here. Voodoo is a closed practice. Not everybody can just up and decide that they want to do voodoo. There's so much to it. There's process. There's so much to it to even start seriously. Even if you were born into it, even if it's in your bloodline, there's so much to it. And I don't think people understand how deep it goes, when it comes to this thing. People learn about spirituality and ancestors and some witchcraft, and they think they're experts. Now, I'm not saying that was her case. But if we learn from Kat, the girl that tried to summon Papa Legba and ended up the same way, not for nothing, I really do feel like she was sacrificed because, well, unless she went down there, she really went down there on her own, which I doubt, because how did she know about the retreat? How did she know where to go? Someone is involved here. I don't know. What do y'all think? All my African watchers, my Caribbean watchers, the ones that know how this thing goes, what do y'all think?